YouTube for real estate agents is the biggest opportunity right now during this shift of artificial intelligence to generate consistent free leads and close deals. But there's two major problems. Number one, most agents are terrified of the camera and have no idea how to get over that fear. And number two, most agents also don't have a simple, repeatable process that works every time to be able to very easily generate consistent free leads. So today I've got the pleasure of bringing on Shonnie Alridge, who went from being terrified of the camera with no video experience to now closing multiple deals every single month for free from her YouTube channel. And the best part is she's having the time of her life doing it when just 2 years ago, she was terrified of clicking record. So two quick things before bringing on Shonnie. Number one, I will link her content below because we talk about not only her YouTube channel, but also her Instagram. And there's a very important reason for that. And number two, I will link her calendar below. She's a wealth of knowledge, a bundle of energy, and extremely knowledgeable. So if you'd like to chat with her privately one-on-one to get her mentorship, coaching, and support for free to help you become the next YouTube agent in your market, click that link in the description, book that private conversation. Now, without further ado, let's bring on Shonnie and talk about how to generate consistent free leads from YouTube without any experience, even if you're terrified of the camera. All right, Shonnie, so super excited to have you back here for a second time. And we're going to be diving into YouTube. You know, we did an interview, I'll link it in the description and the pinned comment below, a couple of years ago. And that was the very beginning and infancy of your YouTube journey. And what has transpired since then is absolutely incredible. So I'm excited to dive into it. But for anybody that didn't see that other video, let us know like who you are, where you're from, and also what got you into YouTube of all things.
Yeah. Well, I'm Shonnie Alridge. I'm a real estate broker and appraiser in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been in business for over 23 years. And so I got in the business by way of my mother. She said, hey, get your license. I was in college. And so I went ahead and did that. And it's been, on ever since then. Um, but I got into the YouTube space because of you. I mean, plain and simple, it was because of you. And I thought to myself, oh, I can't do it because I'm not an actress, I'm not I don't know how I look and sound. I don't think I like it and things like that. And so you said, get past the vanity and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, Mike. And I did. And I'm so glad that I did that. I'm so glad that I did it.
Yeah, it's incredible to see what has transpired since then and just taking the simple steps and the fact that now, we can get into it, but you have months where you're closing multiple deals every single
Yeah.
month. And I'd love for you to talk about getting, before we get into the tactical, like getting over that fear and then to the point where now you're actually enjoying it. Like what was that journey like?
Scary. I mean, uncomfortable. But you got to do what's required. And so I just had to do it. And so, but I had the support of you. And so I really wasn't alone with it. And so me saying that I'm scared, it wasn't like, what are you scared for? You've been in business all this time. It was more like, okay, I understand, Shonnie, you're scared, but you have to do this to get there type of thing. So it was like, just you and how you kind of approached it and kind of guided me through. And then of course, the Social Agent Academy was just super helpful because I could go through it at my own time, which is like late at night when things have calmed down. I went through the Social Agent Academy and kind of got familiar with what I needed to do. And um, I just kind of went for it. And it was not good at first. It was not good at all, but it was so much better than it was before. I just continued to get better and just kind of add on and do new things based on what the audience is asking and, responding to.
Yeah, and one of the things that I love so much about you, yeah, there's a list of things, but you've got a big personality, and
Yeah.
I think it's important to talk about that for a second, which is like how you just authentically present yourself in your content, which is like very genuinely you. And you attract the right people. So, do you want to talk about that
Yeah.
just for a sec? Because I think that's what really differentiates you from a lot of other people in your market that are leveraging YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what I find is that people, when I finally talk to them, they would have seen my video and some others. So they're looking at a bunch of different videos and just trying to figure out what are they going to be doing here. And they say that they appreciate just how I am. And I'm just being me, so I don't have to act. It's
Yeah.
just me being me. And that's the easiest thing to do. So, once I realized I didn't have to act and I didn't have to like speak a certain way and I could just use my southern drawl and I can be fine with that and just be who I am, it made it more enjoyable to actually record the videos. And I wasn't so hard on myself about that part, more about, making sure things were filmed properly and nice and stuff like that. But my presentation, how I speak and how I look, they love it. That's why they reach out. They feel like, oh, she's so relatable. She seems so approachable. I'm not afraid to actually call that phone number. And then when they finally get me on the phone, they're like, "You answer, you sounded like the video," and stuff like that. So they're really surprised and, satisfied with that too.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one of the things I see is a lot of people on YouTube think they need to have like a very specific type of like very traditional, stiff real estate persona, if you will, and then
Yeah,
there's you.
yeah,
Yeah, there's you coming on,
right.
dancing, energy, like
Yeah.
working your magic. It's wild.
It's so good because I'm like, would I want to talk to someone who's stiff? And I wouldn't. I would be like, I don't know about that. But if it's someone that I'm like, you know what, I actually feel like I could trust her. Like she said
Yeah.
something that really resonated with me, type of thing. And I get that all the time. They're like, you said this, Shonnie, and you said that. But if I wanted to stay on this stiff, strict, script, um, I wouldn't have grabbed them. It wouldn't have worked. They would have moved on to someplace else, apparently, So yeah.
100%. And that's always the litmus test that I see when it comes to people on YouTube is like the client on the other side, the potential prospect, the potential lead is sitting
Yeah.
there thinking like, would I want to go for a beer with this person? Would I want to like go for a coffee with them? Like, is this somebody that I can actually genuinely connect with? And it
Mhm.
doesn't matter how good, how valuable your content is, if that's not somebody that actually emotionally connects with you, they're not reaching out to this, plain and simple. And so let's start diving in a little bit to your actual process. Like, give some context to the type
Mhm.
of content that's working for you, and maybe what the results have been. Like, how many deals are you closing consistently from that, to really give people some context as to how this is working for you.
Yeah. Well, first you gotta figure out, like, who are you speaking to? Who is this audience? Are you speaking to, because there's so many different audiences. Are you speaking to a first-time home buyer? Are you speaking to someone who's downsizing? Are you speaking to someone who's gonna spend, $1 million or more? Who is the person, right? And then you start to say these words while you're recording. You figure out what you're going to say, and you say those all of the time, naturally. So I had to kind of figure out, who am I speaking to? Who do I want to work with? And I rather work with someone who's like me. I'm in my 40s. And so I rather have someone who's, had the same kind of experiences that I've had in life. They may have children, they may be married or divorced, or there's just some similarities that we have and we share. So when we're actually meeting one another, it's easy. We're like friends now, we're like family almost. So you got to figure out who you're talking to. Once you figure that out, then that's what you're going to be saying on camera all of the time. And so for me, I film homes, really pretty homes. And I film them a certain way because people require it. So my approach is, okay, I'm going to, show you the front of the house. I'm going to show you the actual neighborhood. I'm going to show you the inside of the home. And then I'm going to talk about it and point out things. So people like that. They like to hear your voice. It's really important. So they can match the voice with the face. It just makes sense. Then I also realized that music is important too. So I added an element of having some music on the video too, just kind of the background music to kind of guide them through. So they're kind of be bopping their head a little bit while, while they're
We need to
watching
get
the
that
video.
playlist. Get that playlist you've sent me.
Right. And so it's enjoyable. Like they're just playing it in the house. And so I realized that They're watching it on television. So I have to make sure that I'm mentioning, hey, you see me on television. So it's just really important to kind of monitor what your audience is doing and speak to that. So when they're watching you, they're like, dang, she really gets us.
Yeah.
But over time, when you have those analytics, when you're first starting, you don't have much analytics. After a while, you have analytics, you study it, and then you perform based on the analytics because that's really important and that's your audience. But I think the first thing is first is who am I speaking to? When we figure that out, now we know what language to use, what words to use to really grab that, like you mentioned, emotion, because it is emotional, right? So to grab that emotion and say, hey, they're like, oh, wow, like she really gets us, she understands us. And so what happens is the wife will tell the husband to call me. So once the wife gives the husband the green light to call a woman, it's
Done.
on now. Because now he's like, hey, my wife says she wants this house, and he gonna do what she says because he loves his wife and things like that. So, yeah. But first things first, figure out who you're talking to.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, this seems to be something that some people struggle with. And you said it perfectly, which is that, you're most qualified to help the person that you are or used to be. And so when people are struggling to identify their niche, just look at you, your lifestyle, your journey. Where are you at in life? Because that's so
Um,
much more genuine and authentic. I find a lot of people
yeah.
try and say, well, this has worked for Shonnie, this has worked for Sue, and I want to go do what that person did. But if that's not genuine and authentic to you, you're going to have a hard time creating content
Ooh,
of
it's gonna
something
be a struggle.
that you don't even understand, you can't relate to. So I love that about you. And you also said something that I want people to pick up on, which is that property tours, yes, do incredibly well. However, a lot of people just send a video team, film the property, upload it to YouTube, and wonder why they're not getting leads. But as you alluded to, the voice is critical. The music, because the music radically changes the emotion of somebody consuming the content. You said the word TV, and this is something nobody really talks about. The majority of my audience, being real estate agents who live on their
Mm-hmm.
phone, is
Mm,
82% mobile. The
mm.
average person that watches a realtor's content is usually on TV. And nobody really talks about that because they think everybody consumes YouTube on desktop or mobile. But the
Yeah.
average realtor, the majority of their analytics is going to show TV. And so that's why quality is important because it's blown up, it's expanded. And
Hmm.
with your property tours,
Yeah.
you said something that makes a world of a difference, which is the lifestyle of it, the community talking about the home, not just saying, hey, here's the home, here's the granite countertops and some nice cabinets, but actually explaining what it's like to live there, what you can, imagine
Yep.
if your family was here. That makes a massive difference.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. It really does because, they're trying to figure out their lifestyle. Are we going to enjoy living in this place? And for me, a lot of times they're coming from a different state. That's a whole different element right there. So it's like, okay, if they're coming from a different state, I have to really make sure that they understand, like, hey, you can do this here. So in Georgia, we do this. This is the Georgia way type of thing. So they're like, okay, Georgia way. And so those things really make a difference because now they're like, we really would be comfortable living here versus some other state or some other city. So it's just really kind of drilling down on that place, that area of town, and speaking to them. And so you're right, yeah, that television, because a lot of my analytics, they are watching it from the television. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, well, grab the kids, grab some
Yeah.
popcorn, get ready for the show. And they're like,
The
oh,
Shawnee show, baby. Let's go.
get ready for the Shonnie show. Yeah, yeah,
I love that. And so one of the things, and you and I see this constantly, the biggest struggle that agents have is consistency. And they get all
yeah.
excited about it, they get started, and then they burn out real quick and they stop. And so I would love for you to walk through how you're staying consistent. What's your process for, identifying your plan, blocking off time to record, the editing, the thumbnails? Like, walk us through the journey of what it's like to stay consistent, which has led to you again seeing the fruit of your labor and actually closing consistent deals now while having fun doing it.
Hmm. So I want the agents to know that this is a great way to build relationships. So when you're calling that agent and saying, "Hey, can I film 123 Main Street?" You're building a relationship. They're like, "Oh, you want to market my home? Free marketing?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now we've established something here." So that phone call, that's part of it. Ask first. Don't just go because it's a house that's vacant. Don't just go in there and start filming. Um, think about that for a second. How would you feel if someone just went into your listing and next thing you know, it's up on the big screen somewhere? How would that owner feel? So making that phone call, reaching out to that agent saying, "Hey, can I do this?" Okay, now we have a relationship. Go ahead and film it. Film it and then make sure you mention that agent. That's just proper protocol. That's just being kind and thoughtful, right?
Hmm.
And then in the video, explain to them, "Hey, listen, that's the listing agent. I'm the buyer's agent, so I'm going to represent you." But the beauty of staying consistent is that um, as you keep doing it over and over again, people are seeing that consistency and they really appreciate it. And it makes them believe that you really are in the business and you know what you're doing because you're always showing up. Every time they turn around, it's another video up. Goodness gracious, Shonnie is just really out there going for it, isn't she? Type of thing. So it's about knowing that even if you don't feel like doing it, it has to be done because you're speaking to that audience. You want to build trust, and you build trust by showing up, showing up, showing up each and every time. So for me, I'll film like, and this is a lot, I've gotten really excessive with it. I'll film 3 to 4 houses in one day. Like it's a full fledged, like I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Um, but I enjoy it. And it's easy when you have a treatment in place. And so the treatment for me is first, I pull up to the house and I'll take a picture of it. Okay. And then I'll film outside first. And then I go inside, film inside first. And then I have a conclusion. So it's the same treatment every time. I'm going to take the picture, film outside, film inside, conclusion. The same treatment over and over again. So when I pull up, it's automatic. I know what I'm doing. I may change what I may say because each house is different.
Yeah.
But that's a small tweak, but it's the same thing over and over again. And then I put in my Google Drive. Okay, it's in there. Now I send it to my VA. I have a virtual assistant now.
Hell
so
yeah.
so she does the editing. I used to edit myself, but I don't edit anymore because I mean I don't really don't have to now because I've
Mhm.
gotten to this point. But I send it to her. She knows exactly what to do. We've done it over. I have over 300 videos on my channel. So we've done this over and over. So she knows exactly what to do. And once it's ready, she uploads it and we put it out there. And I've learned that I get more views on the weekend, in the evening, on television. And so we post it around that time because that's when they're ready to watch my video. And they're actually waiting for it to drop. So, but it's just having that treatment. Whatever your treatment is, agent, you're listening, you're watching, you're like, I want to do this. You come up with a treatment. How is that video going to be filmed? And or just look at my video and just do the same thing I'm doing. Like it's not really that big of a deal. You're going to put your own special take on it anyway. Um, but you have that treatment, you do it over and over and over again. And so after a while, you'll see the benefits of it. Like keep doing it. Even if nothing's happening yet, do not stop. You got to start somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen people in the group that didn't get one lead for 13 months and now they close two, three, 5 deals a month and they just kept going, and
Yeah.
you said there's three really critical things that I'd love to unpack with what you said. First, because this is a massive fear of agents, is they say, okay, I want to do property tours, but number one, I'm fearful to reach out to other agents. Number two, I don't want to say their name because then they're just going to go to the agent. But as you alluded to, like that doesn't happen with actual consumer behavior. I understand that it's a fear for people, but when you're the one presenting the property, they reach out to you. You're the one
Yes.
providing the value. And I think, and again, as you alluded to, like it doesn't burn bridges with other agents when you finally give them credit for their listing and then you work with the
Mhm,
buyer. The second thing you said, which I think is really critical, is finding a repeatable process, having a
mhm.
system in place so you can rinse and repeat, show up, plug in, crank it out, and be done. And that's where The game is won in preparation on YouTube. It's won before you hit record, getting all your ducks in a row, making sure that you're ready to go. You show up because most agents spend half their time overthinking and getting anxiety because they show up and they're like, now what do I do? Right. And what do I
Yeah.
say? And where do I go? And how do I do this? Right.
Mhm.
And so you've just created that repeatable process. But what I would love to kind of dive into with you is that journey from editing yourself to then investing into your business and getting support with a VA. Because sometimes people will say, and this is a massive excuse, well, I can't get started because I don't have a VA. Do you want to talk about, how you got started with yourself and then that transition and what leverage did to help you stay more consistent and put out more volume?
Yeah, I mean, at first, having a VA wasn't even a thought. It was just like, "Oh, I gotta edit it myself and, let's go." And so I chose to edit myself. And it's really here's the thing, it's not even that difficult to edit. If you film your stuff the right way, meaning you go out there, you do your takes, um, when you get back to your computer, you're just threading it together. You're just piecing it together. You're not trying to lighten things up and do all the extra stuff you may see on movies and stuff like that. We're just putting the video together. We're just threading it together. So it's not really that difficult to edit. I just want people to know that it's not. So please don't be afraid of that. Do it on your own at first because you need to really understand what it looks like to do it. So then when you assign it out to somebody else and they say, "Well, it's going to take me 2 days," you're going to say, "No, it's not. It don't take 2 days to do it. I'm not paying you to take 2 days to edit a video because I can do it in 30 minutes." Like it's
Yeah.
not that difficult to thread something together and put some music behind it. We make it, we put that in our mind that it's difficult because we haven't done it before. But once you do it, it really is not that difficult. What happens is because I wanted to have more videos out there and I enjoyed recording versus editing. I had to realize that. And once I started to make more money from doing these videos, then I decided, you know what? I'll just pay someone to do it. And I'll tell them how I want it done. And then she can do it and she can put her own pizzazz on it because she's creative too. So she may be like, "Shonnie, let's do this instead." And I'm like, "Okay, I like that idea. Let's go for it." But um, I say start out doing it yourself. I used CapCut. So
Mhm.
start out doing it yourself. And then once you start getting, your groove going there, then you pass that assignment over to someone else and let them do it for you and do what you enjoy the most, which is probably talking to the audience, talking to your clientele. And for me, I close at least 2 deals a month from someone coming from YouTube. So for me, that's really good because I've been in business so long that I have repeat clients. So I have that business too in referrals, but at least two minimum on average a month from YouTube. And then it's like really easy because they call me and they're like, "Hey, we want to work with you. So what do we do next?" Like they are ready to go, but they've done their research, Mike. Like they've
Mhm.
already watched a few videos. They follow me for a few months now. They've compared me to others. They've done
Mhm.
a deep dive on who I am. They've probably gone to my Instagram and things like that to get familiarized with me, and then decided, "Hey, babe, can you call Shonnie? She seems like she know what she's doing," and things like that.
Yeah. And like you said, there's a lot of value in being able to learn it yourself so that you can properly guide somebody because you said something perfect, which is, telling the VA what you want and how you want it to look. Because oftentimes people will get a virtual assistant, assign the editing, it doesn't turn out the way they want. And they're like, why doesn't it look like this? Why doesn't it look like that? Like
Yeah.
you have to guide them. Um,
Mhm.
and you said something really interesting that I think I'd love to dive into. It wasn't part of the plan, but I think there's a lot of importance to it, which is you said the fact that people will check you out on Instagram. And I find that every single time is people will find you on YouTube, but then they want to see like, is this just like a YouTube personality or is this genuine? Who is this man or woman actually? And they're going to go check you out on Instagram and they're going to see
Mhm.
because on Instagram, you it's much more welcome to show the personal side, the behind the scenes, and more playful stuff, whereas YouTube is kind of straight lead generation, let's go. So do you want to talk about how you've been able to be active on Instagram, what you're posting, and how that really helps seal the deal compared to other agents they might be vetting?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head again with just kind of showing a little bit of personality. And I have to tell you, I struggle with that. I struggled with um, who I want to present myself to be for the wide audience and who I really am. I've decided, as I've gotten older, like, listen, I'm a really good person. I'm a fun person. And I'm not going to be ashamed of that. And in real estate, I know that sometimes it seems like you got to be so buttoned up and stuff like that, but we're not always buttoned up. Sometimes we are more relaxed and casual. And so I definitely show that a whole lot more on my Instagram and Facebook and things like that. And I use that to my advantage because that's the culture. It's accepted, like you mentioned, it's accepted. So it's cool, it's easy. But I post super often, at least 4 times a week, on my social media platforms, and I'll put some things in there about my friends and some things that I've done, and stuff like that, because I realize that I want my clients to be a little bit similar to who I am.
Hmm.
So because it works. They are excited to work with me. They'll mention something like, "Oh, I did that too." It's like, "You did that?" Or "I went there as well and I really enjoyed it." Really? So this is great. Now we're rolling here. So it's really important to in this business, it's a relationship business. It really
Hmm.
is. And people are it's nowadays, the scam, that's the S word is like all over the place. Scam, scam, scam. And so we had to be really cognizant of that to show them, like, listen, this isn't a scam over here. This is all real. You're in good hands. We don't play those games over here. We care about people over here. And so I really want my audience to get that from me, to know that Shonnie is good people. We're in good hands with her. So it's really important for me to do
Yeah.
that. Hmm.
Yeah, and I love that because I check out all your stories and your content, and you're posting fitness journeys, you're posting celebrations with your daughter, and just all
Yep.
these things that
Uh-huh.
make you, and those are the
Yes.
things that people actually connect with. Like, they're going to like you from the value you bring, but they're going to connect and trust you from that genuine, authentic relationship that they can build through content. So it's
That's
amazing,
right,
and
Mike.
again, people need to check out your content. It'll be linked in the description, and just like get a vibe for what Shawnee's like. I
I
love
hope
it.
they enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And so, you know, one of the things I'd like to know, Shawnee, is, knowing that you're doing all of that, and you've been on this journey for a couple of years now, and now you've been able to see these massive life-changing results from your channel. Um, we've been on this journey for a couple of years, and something that's always interesting to know is, what are some of the biggest lessons that you got from YouTube? Like, how have you grown? What has this done for you? And maybe what are some of the key takeaways that most people wouldn't know if they haven't yet been on the journey that has been transformational for your business?
Oh, yes. So I know that I've become um more confident with recording, more confident with approaching and asking agents, can I film their listings? I was really afraid to do that at first. But now it's like, easy. I become more conscious of building relationships with agents. It's really, really important. And I feel like now I'm more conscious with that. Agents who I would have never spoken to before, because I feel like, oh, you're a luxury agent. Um, I don't know if I want to talk to you because, I'm not there yet. Now I don't have an issue with that because the confidence is there. Um, I've also learned that with YouTube and people, you'll see when you all start filming YouTube, you'll see what I mean. When you are filming YouTube and you're filming in the area that you live, do not be surprised if someone recognizes you. I think that I thought, um, I don't know what I was thinking, but now when I go to the grocery store, Mike, people are like, "Hey, I recognize you from," and I'm like, "Oh, wow." When I go inside a community that I want to film in, new construction, there'll be someone there who's like, hey, I saw you on YouTube. And it's like, so that's really an interesting thing too. Like, people watch your YouTube channel, they're going to recognize you, and be prepared because they're looking at you like you're somebody special because you're on television
Hmm.
in their house. So I learned that when you're doing this YouTube journey, um, you're going to experience things within your community that you weren't used to. And so for me, I'm not really used to someone saying, hey, I know you from somewhere. So that right there was, at first I'm like, huh? So now I'm like, oh yeah, and stuff like that. And I'll have a conversation with that person. But I just kind of learned that when you become the mayor of your community, get ready for that. People are going to be approaching you, even children.
Hmm.
Even kids are gonna approach you. So be ready for that. Don't be like, "Ah!" Be more like, "Yes," and welcoming. And I'm still learning that too, because it's still kind of it's happening a whole lot more lately, Mike. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." Like, I'm just Shonnie. I'm just Shonnie. I'm not a celebrity, but it's giving celebrity sometimes when I'm out and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the amazing parts is, the perception of the public is crazy. Like, it's like they see you on TV, you're a superstar to them, an absolute rock star, and I love it. And so Shonnie, there's going to
Yeah.
be people that either are struggling with YouTube or want to align with somebody that can actually help them going into the new year, and can not only guide them, but be there and help build out those processes. And so I'd love for you to talk about, why you ultimately decided to come over here to EXP and partner with us. But most importantly, what could people expect when partnering with you? Because I've seen how much you care, how much you help people, how much you truly support.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of people who need that right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I joined EXP and I didn't join right away. Because I just wasn't sure because I was talking to people about it and I was getting fragmented information and I just could not digest it. It wasn't landing. Um, but once I, found you, it made sense. And then of course what our group offers. So instead of having to go and continue to pay for someone to show me how to do something or to have this, community, I don't have to pay for it by virtue of me being part of the wolf pack. I have it. All I got to do is just tap into it. I don't have to swipe a card or give my information to pay for it. I just plug in, lock in, tap into our group. And so for every agent, you need someone to be able to lean on, to talk to discuss things with. I don't believe that anyone is doing everything by themselves in this industry. I mean, when you say you're a solo agent, you still got somebody helping you. You're not doing all the stuff by yourself. You still got to reach out to somebody. So I would say, I'm here. I'm accessible. I get it. I've been doing it for a long time. So I know what it feels like to be new and to be seasoned. I know what it feels like to be winning and not winning so much. I've been through all the seasons of real estate, the highs and lows, the economy is going up and down, and I'm still here, still standing. Why is that? Because I stick with it, right? So one year I may not do so well, but the next year I do extremely well. But if I stop right here, then I would have never seen the other side of it, right? It's stick to itiveness. And so that's what I offer to anyone who wants to partner with me, just continually supporting, understanding before you even really talk about it. I already get it. Let's just figure out a solution type of thing. And again, I'm right here, and very accessible and super happy to assist and welcome, anyone into our group, because I know that if they join us and they tap in, it's going to be life changing. You're going to actually have friends in this industry, real friends, Mike, not fake surface relationships that secretly you don't like him or her. No, like real, true, like sisterhood, brotherhood. That's what you're going to get when you join us, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, it really is like a family, and I've seen, the relationships that you built,
Yeah.
the impact that you've had, and it's truly life changing. And so, guys, make sure you click that link in the description. The most expensive thing you can own is a closed mind. Have a conversation with Shonnie and see what both her and I could do to help take your business to a radically new level. And help
Yeah.
you build a business that is actually fun, that you enjoy doing, that leads are coming directly to you, clients are closing consistently, and you're having fun all while doing it. So, Shonnie, thank you so much for bringing your energy, sharing your wealth of knowledge and your experience. and just being there and sharing everything that's worked for you so that others have a guiding path as well.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for everything that you do. You do a lot in the background, and people don't talk about it like they should. But thank you for all of your leadership and things that you do to help us get through this real estate journey.
Thank you so much, Shonnie. That means the world to me. And so, guys, click that link in the description, check out Shonnie's content, book that conversation, and
Yes.
hopefully we can welcome
Yeah.
you into our life-changing group. But otherwise, make sure you take massive action, and hopefully we see you guys in the next one.